Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another awesome edition of Get Busy with Kit and Jim. Kit's back this week. Woohoo! Welcome back, Kit. So good morning to everybody. We've survived in Southern California so far. The rain apocalypse that's come down over the last week or so. We're supposed to have a little bit more rain, I think, which is good. I mean, we've been in a drought situation, so it's good to get all of the rain that we can. But wow, it all tends to come at one time. But it's all good. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kit. Welcome back. How's it going?
Good morning. Feels great to be back. And like I was saying, I missed Dustin the first time, so I'm really excited to hear about what he's doing. And I love his work. I love his designs. I love his writing. So yeah, it's going to be fun. This is the first time I'm really interacting with Dustin, so it's going to be very exciting. Thank you so much for coming on our show, Dustin.
Oh boy, is it a pleasure. I'm a big fan of your guys' show, and James and I have only got the pleasure of meeting together once, and we need to rectify that, James. But anytime I can hang out with you guys, it's an honor.
Oh yeah, and you know what? We're honored. We're honored too, and I can't wait to get into this awesome new plugin that you've got going. It seems pretty cool. Well, Kit. Hey, Kit. What's the word for the day?
Beauty.
Beauty. Awesome. And Kristen, good morning. How's it going, Kristen? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited to be here. I haven't hung out with Justin for a while, so yeah.
I know you were like hangout chatting me early in the morning. It's like, what time are we coming on? What time?
I know. Well, I thought we were gonna have Nick and Jason too. Not that you're not like the awesomest of all awesome, Dustin, but I just thought we were gonna have like the triple awesome.
Hey, you know what? We'll absolutely take Dustin. So I want to get into this a little bit. Maybe just take a step back and ask you, what do you envision? Before we get into your plugin, where do you envision content generation going, like in the near future? So in the next year, what kind of things do you see changing, if anything, about content generation? What do you think that people should be kind of tapped into?
Well, I think the one thing that's clearly obvious is that content marketing is evolving, like all things. The internet is constantly evolving faster than we can keep up with. Social media is evolving rapidly. It's becoming more personal, more fast-paced, and it's also becoming more fragmented than ever with all the different social media networks that are out there. There's more options than ever, and I think what the best content creators out there are going to be moving towards in 2015 and beyond is a more personalized content stream. Not in that it's made for individuals, but more rather it's made for specific audiences. We've seen a big trend towards this in the later part of 2014, where great content marketing is no longer spraying your message like a shotgun across all social networks. It's becoming a more intelligent distribution model of customizing a Pinterest version of your social media share or your blog post, or sharing a tweetable moment in your blog post, rather than sharing the same exact message across every single medium possible and just hoping that something sticks. So in that sense, I think personalization and more intelligent content distribution is going to be a big focus for 2014.
And how do you see, so for bloggers, what do you think, with some of these changes coming up, what do you think are going to be some of the big challenges and things that bloggers and content creators need to really consider as they go into 2015?
I think the big challenges are deciding where to be and where to be the most effective. Mm-hmm. The hardest problem has always been for bloggers since social media really took off. It's always been, where do I need to be? Do I need to be everywhere? And that seems to be the census, so I'll try to be everywhere, and I'll try to spray my message everywhere, and then they just become exhausted, burnt out, and their messages become less effective. For me, I've always been of the mentality that it's quality over quantity every single time. And you craft your message for the people that you intend to deliver it to, and instead of crafting it for as large an audience as possible, you craft that message for a very specific targeted audience. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do. Whenever I'm meeting with a client about a branding identity project, or we're revamping sort of their marketing strategy, the number one most difficult thing for them to do is tell me who exactly their audience is. And as a business owner, I understand that struggle, because you have maybe a problem, a solution, a service that you want to help everybody, but really that problem, solution, or service really only is at its best for a small segment of people. And narrowing down who that segment of people is and where you can be most effective and with those people is extremely difficult, because it means you have to say no to a lot of things. And as creative people, as entrepreneurs, it's really hard for us a lot of time to say no to anything.
Right. Yes. The no word is a different kind of almost four-letter word, even though it's not four-letter. It still has a four-letter connotation, right?
Yeah.
It seems like our brains just are geared to want to fix problems and like come up with solutions, because we do have creative minds. And so it's like all of a sudden, like it's almost like we can't turn it off, really. I mean, we can still say no to people, but we're still thinking about whatever they have going on and fixing it in our head.
Yeah, most people love being helpful. I mean, anybody who's an entrepreneur, there are the handful of folks who really do it just for the money, but I feel like the majority of people I've interacted with, I've had the pleasure of meeting and working with, they at their core, they really just, they want to help people. They want to be useful. They want to have purpose to their life, and have validation to their ideas, and usually those ideas have to do with people and helping people. My good friend John Saddington, who is gosh, he's such a mentor to me, and he doesn't even know it. He just came up with this. He just released this app. It's called Desk, and Desk is a Mac app that allows you to have a beautiful writing environment for writing blog posts, and you can actually connect it to your blog, whether it's a WordPress blog or a Tumblr or a Blogger or even Facebook. You can connect it, and you can write and draft your posts in this beautiful interface, very minimal, and you could publish it straight from your desktop without ever having to log into anything. Brilliant app. It was just named one of the Mac Store, or Mac Store's best apps of 2014. But this app came out of him helping himself. It was an itch that he was scratching, and he thought to himself, if I have this problem, if I have this itch, I bet other people will have this problem or have this itch to scratch. Maybe I can help them scratch it. So he spent hours and hours and hours on developing this app, not knowing if it was ever going to pay off. And thankfully it did. But it came out of his need to first solve a problem, and then wanted to help other people solve them, because he could have easily kept this thing to himself. He's a very entrepreneurial spirit, and he could have easily just worked his other ventures and been fine, but he decided to give this to others. And, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another maybe overriding trend going into 2015, that a lot of businesses are taking a step back and thinking, how can I contribute to the greater good, to the social well-being, of the universe, of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not just be a greedy dirtbag, but do something that's actually going to bring value to the world, right?
Yeah, there are very few people who actually want to be a greedy dirtbag, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. So hey, getting back to along the lines of the way that content is going to change in the future, I have one more question around that, and that is how is mobile going to impact the way that people? I mean, will it impact the way that content is generated should you? Are there things that maybe you can do, keeping the fact that there are a lot of different ways now to access content? How do you think that impacts the way that content will be generated going forward?
I think it's just a part of the norm now. Mobile is at the point where it's if not as important as desktop, it's almost there. A lot of websites are now reporting that 50% or more of their web traffic is coming from mobile. I myself, I've seen I think roughly a 25% increase in mobile traffic to Dustin.TV, and I mean that's huge. So you have to know it's no longer a afterthought. Formerly building for a mobile app or a mobile website was an afterthought. You build your primary website first, you build your mobile website, you tweak it afterwards. But now it should be the first thought, actually, in the building process of a website. When it comes to content, I mean, your content is really, when it comes to social media, your content is sort of slave to the medium, so you don't have control over that environment or how it's distributed there, but you can certainly optimize it for distribution there. I have several templates that I shared a while back, visual content templates that, if used properly, they should work across, be optimized for all mediums, whether it's desktop or mobile. So it's just, it has to be at the forefront of your mind whenever you're creating content, whenever you're building a landing page or a brand new website or marketing campaign. Mobile has to be the first thought rather than the afterthought.
Right. And how does I know you're huge on design and visual. So what are some of the visual aspects that people need to consider? Because I think with mobile, I don't know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dustin, but I think with mobile, people tend to jump around a little bit more, and so it makes sense to me that you pay a little bit more attention to the visual component of the content that you're creating. But spell it out for me, Dustin. Break it down.
Well, I mean, I've said it for a long time now. The internet has been so gracious as to cater itself to my strengths, which is visuals. To stand out today in the fast-moving stream of social media, you have to be visual. You have to do something that catches the eye, because otherwise it's a sea of text, and your messaging can easily get lost in that sea of text. So visuals are one easy way to stand out from that text. Now, with the more visuals that are going to be populating the social space as well, it's all the more important to be good, or at least be better than average to stand out from the rest. You have to set yourself apart, and I've been doing my best to educate people as far as visual design principles and best practices, and what makes something good. But really, I mean, being visual and eye-catching is now a non-negotiable. If you're not, then you're going to have a much harder time reaching that audience and breaking through that sea of updates.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I concur 1,000%. And you are definitely right in your element, Dustin. So yes, the internet gods were very kind to you.
They were very kind to me.
Exactly. They put you right in your element. So let's jump into your new endeavor, social warfare. And can you tell us a little bit about kind of the backstory, how this all came together? Maybe what was the problem that you guys were trying to solve? But even before that, what was it that brought this on for you guys?
Well, it was almost a year ago today. Coming up here soon. Every year I redesign Dustin.TV. It's my greatest work of art, my baby, my greatest showcase of my own work as a web designer. It's my blog, and so every single year, come January, I'm either releasing design for the site or actively working on it. Last year, just due to the craziness of everything and scheduling and so forth, so web design came a little bit late. So I was working on it from January through March, and I had mocked it all up in Photoshop like I normally do, and just designed it all before actually coding it all. And I had I was in talks with my buddy Nick Cardot, who was helping me through some technical issues that I was having a hard time working through. And in my mock-up, I had designed these social share buttons, and I said to him, I was like, Nick, what would it take to design something like this? Like, what would I need to pay to develop basically this social sharing function? Because none of the options out there are integrated. There's a few that are decent, a few that I've used in the past that are okay, but I'm really not happy with any of them. With the way that I see social media growing and the opportunities that are out there, I think every single social sharing plugin falls drastically short of where they need to be. So, what would it take for you to help me build this? And he said, well, let's just do it. Nick is one of those phenomenal people who he just does it, and it's incredible. He can just use his genius brain to come up with the most complex solution within minutes. It's astounding. So he and I went to work. I did the design, the front end aspect, and the look and feel of it, and he went away just developing the heck out of it. And I'm blown away at where it's come. Now, 8 months later, after we started developing it, it was released into the wild. We've had a great journey with some beta testers. We've been testing it out on their websites, finding all the little bugs and nuances that kind of happen with people's websites and servers, and it really just started just like that. I had a need. I was not satisfied with the current solutions in the marketplace. I saw some trends coming that I thought would be really helpful, not just for my website, but for others, and so we built the solution. And in my opinion, the only solution out there that answers all the problems that content creators have, especially bloggers, for when it comes to social sharing. We've taken 5 different plugins, functionality, refined them, made them more beautiful, and put them into one plugin that loads faster and is more powerful than any of them.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? Perfect entrepreneurial spirit. Go find a problem, fix it, but do it better than anyone else has, up until now. So I love that. I'm going to let Kit jump in. Kit, any thoughts, comments, or questions so far?
Yeah, you always shut me up for like 20 minutes, so I was like...
Hey, you can jump in whenever you want to. You know that.
Californians are coming. But Dustin, I do have one burning question. What does mixologist mean? Can you please explain your tagline?
It's funny. Last week, was it last week? Gosh, the time flies. I was doing a hangout on air with Peg Fitzpatrick and Guy Kawasaki. We were talking about social media and search, and how Pinterest and Google Plus are the superpowers of social media and search. And we in our green room beforehand, I'm asking Peg and Guy. I had a lower third picked out, and Peg was like, "Oh, you shouldn't use that one. You should call yourself what does she call it? Social marketing." Or visual marketing mixologist, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. So like, a mixologist is usually someone who's like a bartender or something who mixes drinks or something like that, and she out of nowhere just came up with visual marketing mixologist, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And so I used that one, and that was the one that was already preloaded in here, so I kept it.
Oh, it's pretty catchy.
Yeah, that's Peg. Peg. She just comes up with catchy stuff all the time.
I do have one question, though. Okay, so we're talking about visuals and how important they are, and I'm one of those who just doesn't get visuals. I'd rather read like 10 pages of text than... I'm really sad that the internet is going towards the visual world. So what would be some of your tips for, a blogger who is not really visually inclined but still needs to start using visual techniques to capture an audience?
Yeah.
Some of your basic tips,
One thing I'll say for you is, the long form text is not going out of style. As much as a lot of people are fighting it, and micro content is such a trendy thing right now, long form content is doing quite well, especially here on Google+. I mean, you guys know the long form content does much better than the headline and a link. So to that, still pour into that long form stuff. My blog posts, even on Dustin.tv, they're mostly text. They just come along with a very pretty headliner image. So don't be discouraged if you're a writer. I mean, writers to me are still the most valuable content producers, because the written word is going to be forever a staple of how we communicate, how we pass on stories, and how we pass on knowledge. Period. There's not going to be a better way. To that, there are a number of things I've written about how to simplify design concepts and implement them in your content creation. There's a plethora of tools out there that you can use, free tools to design things. Canva is one of my favorite.
I use Canva a lot. Yeah.
Canva is great because they give you templates.
Yes.
Plenty of free templates that designers have made, and you can insert your text or insert your logo, and everything's sort of laid out for you, and you can learn that way. I mean, if it might be tricky at first to learn from it, but once you do so many, you'll kind of, something subconsciously will click in you, and you'll start to get it. I tried to outline in my last blog post how to make visual content that doesn't suck. I outlined 3 basic principles of design that any designer or artist would intrinsically know, but those who are not designers, it's not common sense to them. That it's not something they think about. But to us designers, it's something we don't think about. We just naturally do, and that's balance, framing, and contrast. And you have to. You have to read the blog post, because I put it as simply as I possibly could, and that took about 900 words.
No, I appreciate it, because I really liked that article, because you explained it in very simple terms. For somebody who didn't understand what balance or framing meant, the only balance I know is in coffee. So I don't understand visual balance. So it was a really good article, and I please put the link in the comment section whenever you get a chance, because I think everyone will benefit from it, especially if you're not visually inclined and you want to start out. I think that was a really good blog post. So thank you for that.
Oh, great. My pleasure. I mean, it's one of those things. I started Dustin.tv because I wanted to teach. It was an outlet to teach when I wasn't speaking. So to hear that it's actually helpful to people. When you're speaking in front of a crowd, you can kind of say things and see how it lands, and maybe they got it. You get some head nods, or you get some cross-eyed. So you kind of know how it's landing. So when I hear stuff like that, it's really great to hear that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you know what? When you're a blogger or a writer, feedback is awesome, and you live for the comments, right?
Yes.
You live to get comments and to get feedback, even if it's positive or negative or whatever. It's great that people are actually reading it, but it's even better when you get some sort of feedback, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Kristen, do you want to jump in? Do you have some comments, questions? Are you able to unmute? Oh, I think she's.
I'm in the middle of something. I just put up a picture, and I want to give Dustin a design challenge. For you to tell me what's wrong with my picture. How can I improve it? I did this in Canva, of course.
See, first of all, I love it because it has Batman on it. Secondly, great color usage.
I worked hard on that.
The colors all work beautifully together. I tend to lean on tools when it comes to color matching and color palette, putting color palettes together. So I would have gone to either one of my color tools. Color.adobe.com is one, spelled with a K-U. Colorlovers.com. So I would have found a palette. It would have taken me probably 20 minutes to find the right palette for that. So you've done a great job putting that together. Typography is great. you have from what I can see, it's only two fonts, and
I
that's
tried really hard.
one of my staples is no more than 2 fonts. So that's really good. The positioning of everything is pretty good. You're balanced. You're balanced on all sides. It's asymmetrical, so it's not the same exact thing, but it kind of balances each other out. The character on the right, it kind of balances out the 2 elements on the left. Only one thing I would have done differently, and that goes to the framing aspect. So the framing on the black border looks a little inconsistent. So the top part of the frame looks a little bit thicker than the sides. So it gives a little bit of inconsistency there, but because the middle is so bright, I almost don't see that. And I would have just moved the elements in just a little bit. You got the bat wing hanging, getting cut off a little bit there. It's sort of choking the logo, and at the bottom, the Robin Hearts Canva, I probably would have moved that up a little bit as well, just so it's not getting cut off and feeling constricting. But otherwise, beautiful piece of visual content. Definitely would have caught my eye if I saw it floating through the stream.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Kristen. What I've noticed is most successful content marketers, they have like you said, 2 fonts or 2 colors, and that kind of becomes part of their branding. So it's easy to kind of figure out, Rebecca Radice does that really well, where she has an orange and white, and as soon as you see it, it's hers. So do you think that would make like a difference and help you stand out of the crowd, for someone like me who's starting out and trying to figure out? I do know my colors. I'm more of a yellow and blue person. So
yeah, absolutely. Branding is a big part, and you have to decide what kind of approach you're going to take to branding. Some people take a very strong branding approach to every visual, like Rebecca does. Rebecca does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I swear I'm going to find who she uses for all that.
I know. I've been trying to figure out, but she's been very good about not telling me.
Yeah. No, they're beautiful. And she takes a very very bright, very aggressive approach to her branding. And that way, when you see a Rebecca Radice article go through your stream, it's instantly hers.
Yeah.
And, that familiarity or that intuitive, instant recognition is so valuable when it comes to building your brand, because you build a fan base. People learn to expect a certain thing, and they sort of look forward to it as long as it's something delightful. And hers absolutely are. They're always delightful. Whereas where I've kind of gone is sort of the subtle approach. It's usually just the D logo, somewhere hidden within the image. Sometimes I like to bury it within the visual. If I have some extra time to bury it, I'll put it on a billboard in the background, or sort of hide the D somewhere into the current color scheme of the image. So that's a more subtle approach, but people tend to now look for it. And they know my style. I have a certain aesthetic that I sort of cater to, certain filters that I use that are consistent. So there's a lot of ways to build consistency, and I think the branding aspect is really about consistency. Find a style that you really enjoy and stick to that style, and do it over and over again. And your audience tends to be able to pick it out of a crowd, and it's a valuable piece of branding.
And are there any? Sorry, Christine, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna say, sometimes I feel like oh, I can't do that color because someone else is already using that color. But then when I think about it, like On Track Tips and Dustin Stout, both red, and I never think about them crossing.
Yeah, so that's another thing too. There's only so many colors in the color spectrum. And I thought about that too. Red is so overdone. It's Google Plus is red, YouTube is red, Pinterest is red, Target is red, Red Robin is red. There's a lot of reds out there. Gloria Allred, she kind of niched herself out in that color. But red's my favorite color, and so I just didn't care. Or you look at the color blue. Blue is what most people would say is their favorite color. And blue is also associated psychologically with trust. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn,
PYB.
Yeah, blue is everywhere. And there's ways to make it subtly different. My red is, if you put it side by side to Pinterest red, is significantly different, or YouTube's red, very, very different. But just go for it. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Do what you love. Do what you care about. Do what you're passionate about, and just be consistent at it. That's all.
Cool. Thanks.
Yes, I know.
Don't use the Tiffany's blue though, because they will sue you. They have a patent on that color.
Oh wow.
The Tiffany's blue. It is like a patented color.
I want to ask another question. I'm being totally greedy. What do you think about the color periwinkle? What does that say for design?
Periwinkle, great for something that's youthful, something that's sort of trendy. I think periwinkle is kind of a trendy color at the moment. Maybe more seasonal, on the seasonal spring side, maybe. If I'm thinking of the right periwinkle, I'm not great with color names.
It's like lavender, sky bluish.
Okay. Okay.
Color my whole life.
I'm thinking of like a pink, and that's completely wrong. Okay, so like a lavender, sky blue. Oh yeah, it's a great color. Still very youthful, calming because it's got the hues of blue in there. Yeah, great color.
Yeah, I know two of my friends who are really passionate about purple. So they're both like purple fanatics, and I see them, but they're very different. I mean, their websites look very different. So I think, like you said, if you're passionate about a color, just go for it. I love that advice.
Yeah. Now there are certain, wisdom that I would recommend. I did an article about color psychology. Because colors are, psychologically tied to certain feelings, certain emotions, certain whatever you want to call it. The colors have psychological weight to them. Like I said, blues often associated psychologically with trust. Red, the color red, it's actually been scientifically proven to raise heart rate. So it's an exciting color. It draws the attention. Orange is the same way. Orange is a youthful color, very attention-getting. Purple is one of those colors that I always advise to be careful with because it's associated with royalty, but it's also associated with faking wealth. And so if you overuse the color purple, sometimes it can have a negative psychological effect where it seems fake to people. So
I just think of domestic violence.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that too. So yeah, I mean, do some research. Definitely see, what psychological weight your color might have. But any color can be used in moderation, and if it's used intelligently, it can work out really great.
So, but is it like proven that colors carry that weight with you, like psychologically? Yeah. Is it proven? Okay.
Tons and tons of studies, and they will vary on culture to culture because certain cultures have different ideas of colors and different religious connotations of colors and regional interpretation of colors. So they vary from culture to culture. So it's very hard to make a generalized statement. I tend to do research and study for my audiences, which is primarily U.S. based.
Okay.
Yeah, always there's tons of studies out there. Studies. And they're fascinating to read for me, anyways. I geek out.
Yeah, me too. I love psychology of branding and how that works. So that's something that in the future I want to do like a PhD on. So I'm very interested in learning more about that.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. Just do some research on color psychology and color theory. Oh my gosh, you'll love it.
Yeah, because right off the bat I can think of white, and white in U.S. is associated with marriage, right? You have white gowns, and in India, white is associated with funerals because when your husband passes away, they wear white. So
see, and it's like completely opposite in the U.S.
Right there.
Yeah, completely opposite in the U.S.
Yeah, so it's, again, it all comes back to know your audience and really understand them. See, that's the biggest problem I have is how do I drill down to that persona? I mean, I have a vague idea, but it's like, okay, there's so many people. It seems like somebody's already doing what I'm doing or what I want to do. So.
And I get that a lot. A lot of bloggers that I talk to, that's sort of the biggest stigma is it's like, oh, I was going to write this article, but then I read somebody else wrote the same exact thing. I'm like, so what? Go write it. Write it better. Write it. The thing we all have to remember at the end of the day, because I struggle with this too. I'm not saying that I've defeated this, this insecurity that we all have. We have to remember that nobody has our perspective. Nobody. Nobody has our same combination of experiences, history, family, values. Nobody has that. Your combination of uniqueness is nobody else in the world has it. So when you write something or when you share something, it's always got to be from that place of uniqueness. And never try to be someone else. Sure, model someone else. Find the people who are doing it right and figure out why. But always, 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 come back to what makes you unique, and know that when you write something, it's going to be completely different than when Gary Vaynerchuk writes it. So that's something I have to remind myself every single day. I'll never be Gary Vaynerchuk. As much as I want to be very energetic and prolific, I'll never be Gary Vaynerchuk ever. I'll never be Derek Halpern because I'm not from New York and I'm not that tough. I'll never be Jay Bear because I'm not nearly as stylish or intelligent. But I can be Dustin. And even though we will write about the same exact piece of news, next week Twitter will come out with some sort of report, and we'll all blog about it. Each one of us will have something different to say about it. So never, never, never let what somebody else is doing stop you. Just go do it.
Because I think that's the biggest problem today is because of social media. I've seen a lot of people get so obsessed about social media that they forget to take care of their own audience, and they try to do what a social media guru or a pro is doing and do the same thing, but it never works.
Yeah.
And the best bloggers that I'm in contact with, they actually don't even advertise on social media. I mean, they don't do social media too much at all. They share a link every once in a while, but they have a robust email community, and that's what they're really focused on. And then those people will share their article. It's almost like indirectly they're becoming pros, but they're not saying that, hey, look at me. So I think what's important is to really get that community, and the only way you can do that is if you're you, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And back to your point of where it's so hard to find your audience. Again, that is the most difficult thing. One thing that's always helped me is I've sort of wrote for, when I started Dustin.tv, I was writing for myself, in a sense, to help teach myself better. They say that when we learn something, we retain 10% of what we hear, 50% of what we do, but 90% of what we teach. So I've always taken that method. If I'm going to learn something really well, I'll teach it. I'll write about it. And so, in helping myself, I know there are others like me out there who are trying to learn this whole social media thing, who are trying to, make a name for themselves, who are trying to market a product or a service. And, that's the people I tried to identify with. The people who are commenting on my blog, you have no idea how valuable blog commenters are. They're not just, more attention. They are a means of finding out where your message is connecting and who it's connecting with. People who are responding to your tweets, who are sharing your tweets, who are sharing your Google Plus updates and commenting. Learn to know and love those people, and you'll find your audience.
And I love how you and Nicholas Cardat and Wayne Arman, I've noticed the three, and actually Jason T. Weiser too, I've noticed that you guys do a really good job at incorporating people's comments on your websites, and it becomes a part of it. It's like another piece of content. And I love it.
Well, I mean, it's social proof. For one thing, it's one thing to tell the world how great you are, but it means nothing when compared to somebody else telling the world how great you are or your product is. And every great marketing professional knows that you need testimonials, and you need other people to talk about you, and rather than try and talk about yourself, because most people will trust other people, what other people have to say about you, rather than what you have to say about yourself. So. Yeah.
Right, and what? That's a great seg back into social warfare, right? Because the premise behind
that's what I'm here to talk about.
The whole premise behind this project, right? What's the ultimate benefit for people who use it and use it well?
Well, ultimately, it's to give content creators every tool that they can possibly have at their disposal that will help their audience share their content. That's as simple as it gets. We want to make it as easy and seamless as possible for people to share our content. And the social media buttons and solutions and plugins out there, up till this point, were clunky. They didn't have enough features, or they destroyed site load time, which will destroy your SEO, and people will bail your website before they even load. So it solves the issue of making sure your website loads quickly, making sure those buttons load quickly, making sure that they're beautiful, they're not ugly and standing out, but also making sure that that social proof is there, so other people can see, oh, others are sharing this. It has a total share count at the end of it. You can see how many times it's been shared on each social network and how many times it's been shared in total. And that definitely helps because people tend to share things that other people have shared. So it solves a whole lot of solutions. It also helps solve the custom content issue because we have some special features built in. So when you're writing your blog post, you go right down below the blog post editor and you'll have a little social warfare box where you can insert your custom social media image that will go out to Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and LinkedIn. And then we also have a custom Pinterest image, so you can have an image specifically designed for Pinterest that you can put in there. It's hidden from the page, so you don't have to shove it into your article and have your text be this big because your image is taking up all this space. You can totally hide it, so when somebody hits that pin button, it automatically brings up the Pinterest specific image, and that's done wonders for my Pinterest traffic, by the way. I shared a chart of my traffic since we started using social warfare. Pinterest was barely a blip on my analytics radar. The traffic I was getting from Pinterest was, this much compared to Google+. And it's now, 8 months later, surpassed Google+. And I barely spent any time there. So, it creates a lot of functionality to help bloggers and content creators get their content shared the way that they want it to be shared. You can customize the tweet. You can customize the Pinterest description. It's all about customization. It's all about simplicity in making it simple for the end user.
Oh, I love that hidden image thing. I really love that.
Yeah, and it's especially valuable for me because I have very high-end needs. For Dustin. So when you visit an article, I've created a big giant image, sort of like on Medium, if you ever visit an article.
Oh, I love Medium.
Yeah, it's great. So I have a big image that's up near the title, and usually that one doesn't have any text behind it. Now that we've fixed it all to work with social warfare, but if I put white text on that image, then the actual title gets kind of hard to read. So I need one image for that, and then I need another image to go across Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, so forth, and then I need another image for Pinterest. And I don't want to put all of that on the page because that's just cluttered and it's the same thing 3 times in different ways. So social warfare allows me to hide those separate customized social media images and just keep the big beautiful one and keep everything looking nice and tidy and keep the reading experience uninterrupted on the front end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's great. I think there are a couple of other Twitter-specific features that you have built in there too. Like if you're writing an article and there are certain sections of the article that you want to tweet out, you can do that as well, right?
Yeah. One of the greatest things ever invented was click to tweet, and I'll forever give those guys credit for coming up with it. So we've built that same functionality, the ability to create a quotable moment within your blog post. If you look in the one I had most recently, so I basically sum up each tip into a tweetable quote, and it stands out from the rest of the blog post. Obviously, it's designed differently, stands out very well, and then you just literally click to tweet it, and the user will click and tweet that exact tweet that you've already crafted for them. Makes for a really really quotable and highly shareable miniature pieces within your content.
Now, when we do that, is it a good idea to add a personalized hashtag to it?
Sure.
Or is it necessary?
Yeah, I mean, if you've branded yourself with a certain hashtag, or you have one that you use consistently, sure, yeah, absolutely. Or if it fits within, hashtags are one of those things where you can kind of go off the handles with them, but my recommendation is always to be intentional about the hashtags and always be relevant with the hashtags. So yeah, I mean, if you have a relevant hashtag, do it.
So when you click to tweet using the social warfare button, so does it create like a customized Twitter image with it, or is it a link?
It's almost it's exactly like you would go into Twitter and compose a tweet. Okay. When you're in the blog editor, you hit our click to tweet button within the blog post editor. It comes up with a little box, and you fill in just the text of what you want to be tweeted out, and then the text of what you want to be shown on your blog post. Okay. So you write the quote, and then you write the tweet version of the quote, and it's simply text.
Okay.
Now there is a trick. There is a little trick that would allow you to put a photo in there, but it would require you tweeting it first and then copying that tweet and pasting it in there. I'm working on a tutorial to show how to do that.
Because I don't get how to add images in Twitter yet. I'm not able to. I don't get it. Like, I can go and manually add a picture because they have a picture icon, but I see some people just do it automatically. I don't know. I just don't get it.
Yeah, there are, there's social media management tools like Buffer, CoSchedule, or Hootsuite allow for that kind of stuff. CoSchedule is a pretty great one, but I'm also working on a tutorial to show how to use social warfare to do that too. But I got to get on that.
Hey, so what additional tips do you have for people who want to go in and they purchase the social warfare, which is very reasonably priced, by the way. But what tips do you have for them to maximize and optimize it, and use it as a strategy to get more traffic, or get more views on their blog?
I would say just utilize the tool. I mean, it's that simple. Fill in the social customization options. Always make sure you create a custom tweet. Always make sure you create a Pinterest-specific image. I mean, I can't tell you how much that's helped. Once people learn that clicking on your Pinterest button will get them a really cool Pinterest image that's different from what they see, people just tend to love it. So create that Pinterest image in the description, fill out the stuff, and you'll be just fine. It's really as simple as just filling out the blanks, making sure no blank is left unwritten for.
Okay, for Pinterest, I often add the link, but the link is already added, right? Like if you don't copy paste the link to where you found it, it's already attached to it.
Yeah, when you use a Pinterest button through social warfare or even Pinterest's own pin it button, it always pulls that link and adds it to the image, so that when people click on the image, they go straight. The link is effective, or the image is effectively a link to the original content.
Yeah, there are some websites that don't do that though, which is really frustrating. If you want to really pin an image, they still haven't, like some reputable websites. Can't think of some off the top of my head, but there's some reputable websites that I actually go copy, paste the image, and then I go to Pinterest, and if it's a really good article that I really want to save, then I take that extra effort. But yeah, a pin button will just directly put.
You can find out what those reputable websites are, and we'll send them a copy of Social Warfare.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I will. I mean, these are like inbound marketing. I don't know. These are some big websites that I was really surprised are not. Maybe they don't have an audience on Pinterest. Maybe that's why they don't care about it. But still, to give an option to a viewer to kind of save it on Pinterest, I think would really help them.
Yeah. Yeah, it blows my mind. Some of these websites that are, great content, great writing, great people behind them, and their social sharing is just an absolute mess.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even care. Their social icons are out of date, and that makes me want to pull my hair out. And I go to click it, and it doesn't work. And oh man.
Yeah, it does. And unless it's a really good article, sometimes I've actually created Pinterest images because there is no image. So
Uh-huh.
I've created my own images and put it, and then, seriously, I didn't create the article, I just created the image, but it got like 20 repins or whatever. I'm like, dude, just take that extra effort and put a picture in there, and I won't have to do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Funny
half of it
story
is not
about
even
that.
that good. It's just like a title, with a lot of colors in it, because I'm not a design
I've done
person,
that too.
so.
Yeah, it's a funny story. If I don't know if any of you follow Global Web Index. A little over a year ago, they came out with their study when Google Plus first surpassed Twitter as the second largest social network in the world. They had this, very standardized chart, a bar graph that really wasn't very pretty. It looks like, somebody did it in ProPresenter or PowerPoint, and I was like, I can't share this crap. So I created an infographic, a very simple but brightly colored infographic that was, literally that few pieces of information, and shared it out. It got shared over 1 million times, and now Global Web Index makes a beautiful infographic for every single one of their charts. So you never know. Sometimes they'll learn if you do that for them.
Did they give you any credit?
No, I don't think they did. But I didn't care. I got millions of views from that one graphic, and they have great studies, great research, and I just hope they when they saw that my shares was getting way more traffic and attention than anything they ever did, they realized, oh, we have to pay attention to design.
That's awesome. And if they ever need a designer, then they might think about coming to you.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. They seem to have found a pretty good one. If I can pay them that compliment, they are doing a fantastic job at creating graphics now. Whoever they got, give that guy a raise.
Nice. That guy loves right now, Dustin. So quick question. What are some of if you can give us a sneak peek into the future of social warfare, what are some of the features that you have in mind coming up in the future? What are some of the add-ons that you want to put into this?
Well, I don't want to say too much because between myself, Jason, and Nick, we've got creativity out the yin-yang. But we are working actively on some new themes, some new visual themes for the buttons, because some people, want a little bit different style, and we're working on those styles actively as we speak. We have currently in our queue that I've already designed, I think 8 or 9 different styles for sharing buttons. So those are in the works. Some more click-to-tweet styles, so that you can have it styled a little bit differently. And we're also working on a very, very cool feature that would expand upon the click-to-tweet, but basically make any piece of content shareable. Any snippet of your content instantly shareable. And that's a difficult one that we're working on, and I can't say too much about it because Nick might kill me.
Hey, but that tier is great because that is an awesome feature. That's an awesome coming attraction. Very good, Dustin. So hey, we have a couple of questions from our audience here. So Nazim, shout out Nazim. How's it going? How do you find time to do all that you do?
I have a TARDIS.
What?
A TARDIS. It's a time machine that looks like a police box.
Awesome. That works. That works indeed.
Oh, by the way, I just kind of put up a link, Dustin. It's from a HubSpot article that I just saw. And what do you think of the picture of that?
Let me see. Where is
it? It kind of pisses me off.
Did you put it in? Oh, here it is.
It's in the comment, like the search.
Yeah.
It's not even pinnable, is it?
It's loading now. Ugh.
was talking about. I just got it in my email. Like, God just sent it to me.
Oh man.
And it's
Stock
not even like pinnable. I mean, I have to go and take the link, put it on Pinterest, and then it'll pull up something, and the title is not linked in the description part, the alt text. So I have to write the title or do something and add the hashtags.
Yeah, well, let me say, HubSpot, they are fantastic marketers. They
Yes,
have some of
they
the
are.
best content on the internet.
Absolutely.
But their use of stock photography is borderline criminal.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have
let me tell
to.
you, I can do a better job than that for the picture, and I have no design thumbs at all.
Yeah, and I understand. You know, they probably the amount of content and the quality of content that they produce. You know, they probably have a subscription to iStock Photo, and get a lot of their imagery from there, and that's fine. It's efficient and it's good. You know, for someone who's high maintenance like me, it may be annoying, but it gets the job done, I guess.
Yeah, so they're a thought leader, and I absolutely love their articles. Their long-form content is spectacular. But it's just that if somebody looks at it and wants to imitate somebody as good as HubSpot, and they don't get the same results because they don't have the same brand name behind it, so that could really hurt small business owners or somebody like me who think, oh, HubSpot doesn't have a picture, so why do I need a picture?
Right.
Like a good picture, like a good design. So, but yeah, that was just an example.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's a really great point, because when you are a big brand, you don't necessarily need to do the thousands of other things. A great example was Apple. For the longest time, Apple had zero social media, and even the social media they have right now, not the greatest. Nick says, "You are now dead to me." Anyway, so Apple, for the longest time, they were terrible at social media. In my opinion, they're still terrible at social media, but they're getting much better. But if anybody took their lead, they would have been terrible at social media as well, and it could have potentially hurt them from a branding standpoint. But Apple had already built that fan base. They've already built that worldwide recognition, so they didn't need the additional social media marketing and word of mouth. They had it already working for them. So
I really
you're always every guys are doing, or the big gals are doing. We have to sometimes be a little scrappier.
Yeah, and I really think that building that community of followers is so important, just for that reason.
Absolutely.
That it kind of make up for maybe a lack of efficiency in other areas of social media, is if you can create your own community. And some bloggers don't even care about not having a great social media presence because they're doing well, they're monetizing their website,
Mm-hmm.
and so I guess it comes down to what is your purpose.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with followers. I've never said that out loud, but I do. I like partners.
Nice. Hey, so Kristen, any closing thoughts, comments, questions?
No, I feel like I've been greedy this whole time. Just
Me too.
asking I want it. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it.
Your greed there helps other people for sure. I'm sure everyone has similar questions and issues. Kit, how about you? Closing thoughts?
Yeah, before the show prep, I was just telling Jim that, oh my God, Dustin really intimidates me. I've never interacted with him before. And he's like, why? He's such a cool guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, now I get it. You're really a cool guy, Dustin. And thank you so much for tolerating all our questions. I know we took the conversation a completely different direction, but when you have an expert in front of you, the design expert, I have to take advantage of it.
No, that's fine. I love talking, so so any chance that I get to talk and not stare at a computer screen, being silent, I'm all for it.
Thank you so much for coming on our show. And, we have to do just like part 1, part 2, part 3 in 2015, kind of get bloggers up to speed on how to design well and kind of dedicate, if you're open to that.
Absolutely. Give me time and place in there, as long as Hangouts works for me.
And you can give us a challenge, like a design challenge, that we have to come back with homework.
I love it.
Yeah, let's set that one up. I got plenty.
Oh, God. Judy, you are dead for me now.
So Dustin, tell or any closing thoughts that you have, and then tell our audience how they can get in touch with you and how they can find out more about this awesome social warfare plugin.
Go buy Social Warfare. Warfareplugins.com. Get yourself a copy. Try it out. If you need help, assistance, myself, Nick, or Jason are more than happy to help walk you through it. We're super excited about the product and just the fact that people are using it, and we want to see more people using it so we can find more reasons to expand it, and more reasons to improve it, and more reasons to just help people share content better.
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I've got a quick question. So we talked a lot about your role, of course, in designing this, and Nicholas's role in doing the coding and the development. But what is Jason's role actually in the?
Oh, Jason. He's the pretty face.
He really is.
He does all the modeling for the photo shoots. He's got some really great swimsuit issue calendars. No, Jason, he's the business mind. He's just got such a great propensity for infrastructure, setting up the business side, making sure that all the contracts are in place, all our amendments, making sure the communication is all streamlined. He is super awesome at putting together the business side, the administrative and get things done side.
Oh,
He's the ultimate boss.
The ultimate boss. I love that.
Well, I mean, I should say Christopher too. Christopher House. Yeah.
Chris House he's like the anti-boss.
Yeah, exactly.
He's super good at what he does, but it never feels like he's a boss. It feels like he's always a partner. We're always comrades. That's
so I have to ping Jason Weiser, and kind of get a copy of his calendar now. Swimsuit issue. I'm very interested.
All right, guys. Well, hey, time flies when you're having fun. This hour blew by like crazy, fast as crazy. Dustin, thank you so much for coming on. This plugin sounds like it's going to be an awesome feature. I think every blogger in the world should definitely go get it. It's really not that expensive, so go check it out. Next week, we're going to have Dawn Andrews on the show. Dawn has a history. Actually, you might be interested in this, Dustin. She has ties in the film industry. I think with some directors and producers, and she was involved. I should know this, but at the top of my mind, I can't think about it. But anyway, her background is film and entertainment in Hollywood, and she started a new business where she actually works with entrepreneurs, and specifically her target, speaking of target audiences, are more female entrepreneurs who want to feel more comfortable on camera and using video to grow their business, right? And so she's going to come on the show and tell us a little bit about what she does and how she got where she is. So we're really looking forward to that. Thank you, as always, audience, for being here, for interacting and engaging with us. Without you, we wouldn't be anywhere, so we totally appreciate it. And everyone, have a great week, and we'll see you again next week on Get Busy. Thank you.
Bye.